Hannah was outside playing on her bicycle when her mummy called for her to come in. "Hannah, come and put your coat on. We're going down to the village to get some shopping. If you're very good, I will buy you some sweets to take home." Hannah put on her coat and scarf and set off to the village shops with her mummy. When they reached the village, Hannah looked at the lovely display in the window of her favorite shop. Can you guess which shop it was? Yes, that's right. It was the toy shop. And sitting right in the middle of the window was a huge teddy surrounded by beautiful dolls, having tea. There was a tea set sitting on a table, and all the plates and delicious cakes were set upon it. It looked lovely. "Come on, Hannah," said her mummy. And Hannah took hold of Mummy's hand, and off they went to the little supermarket. When they reached the supermarket, Hannah picked up a basket to give to her mummy. "Thank you," said Mummy, and started to put things into the basket. There was a jar of jam, a tub of butter, a packet of biscuits, oh, and 2 scrumptious yogurts. "Oh, I must get some bread," said Mummy. They went over to the shelves where the bread was kept. In front of them was a little old lady with a walking stick in one hand and a basket in the other. She was trying to reach a loaf of bread from the shelf, but her basket was getting in the way and her walking stick was stuck in the bottom shelf. Hannah bent down and pulled the lady's stick out of the bottom shelf, and then, reaching up on her tiptoes, took a loaf from the shelf and placed it in the old lady's basket. "Thank you very much," said the old lady. "You are a very good girl." The old lady looked down at Hannah with a smile on her face. When they reached the desk where you pay for the things that you put in your basket, the old lady was in front of them. When the lady had been served, she dropped a tin of beans on the floor and she was trying to pack her bag. Hannah immediately bent down and picked it up. The old lady smiled at Hannah and said, "Thank you again, young lady," and she went out of the door. Hannah held Mummy's hand and looked up at her. "Mummy," she whispered, "can I have some sweets, please?" "Oh, yes, I'd forgotten," said Mummy, and told Hannah to choose something from the stand near the counter. Hannah chose a small bar of chocolate and said, "Thank you." They packed Mummy's bag and went outside. As they walked down the village street, they caught up with the old lady, who was walking very slowly. As they went past her, the lady said, "Excuse me, could I have a word with you both?" Hannah and her mummy stopped and turned around. The lady said to them, "I am sorry, but I never asked your name," looking at Hannah. Hannah looked at the old lady and quietly said, "It's Hannah." "Well," said the lady, "I wonder whether you and your mummy would like to come to tea at my house. I live in the big house down Orchard Lane. It's not far." Hannah's face lit up at the thought of going out to tea. She tugged gently at Mummy's hand, saying, "Please, can we go, Mummy? Please?" They told the old lady that they would love to go to her house, and they made arrangements to see her that Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Hannah got up very early that Sunday morning and was ready to go to the old lady's house by 10 o'clock. Every few minutes, Hannah would ask her mummy the time. It was passing so slowly, she thought. Then later, after lunch, they set off to walk to the old lady's house in Orchard Lane. It was a beautiful day, just the sort of day for a walk with your mummy. After they'd walked for some time, Hannah's mummy said, "Here it is." And there in front of her was a long driveway lined with enormous trees which seemed to reach up and touch the sky. They walked up the driveway, which wound its way around the house. Hannah walked up the 4 steps to the door and knocked at the huge brass knocker, which she could only reach by standing on her tiptoes. The door opened slowly, and the old lady welcomed them both in. "In there you both go," and she pointed the way into a room with her walking stick. Into the room walked Hannah and her mummy, followed by the old lady. Hannah's eyes opened wide, for in front of her was the most beautiful table full of food that she had ever seen. There were cakes, all with icing on them, what seemed like thousands and thousands of biscuits of all shapes and sizes, plates full of sandwiches, and a large teapot and 3 cups and saucers. "This can't all be for Mummy and me," she thought, and went and sat down on a small stool which the lady had put there especially for Hannah. Hannah sat and ate and talked, and then she ate and talked some more. After a while, the lady asked Hannah if she would like to take a look around the house. Hannah looked at her mummy. Mummy nodded her approval, and Hannah took the old lady's hand and set off on a tour of the house. After looking into most of the rooms, the old lady led Hannah to the last room. She opened the door wide. Hannah stepped inside. There, in front of her, she saw that the room was filled from top to bottom with toys. Yes, toys. Toys of every shape and size. Toys of every color of the rainbow. There was a doll's house that was so big that Hannah could only just touch the chimney pots on it. There was a rocking horse that looked so real that Hannah thought it might gallop off at any moment. Over in the corner stood a castle surrounded by hundreds of toy soldiers in smart uniforms with rifles at the ready. "Oh my goodness," thought Hannah. "I have never seen so many beautiful toys, ever. Never so beautiful, never so many, ever." The lady took Hannah's hand, and they sat on the bed.